In 2023, I decided to shake up literally every single piece of software that we use as a company just over 5 years in. So why did I do that? Let's get into it. All right, well, welcome back to another episode of Theory of Why. This is going to be an express episode. And my hope is that as you're watching this episode, you can take away some things that you can use for your business. And hopefully this will encourage you that change isn't as scary as you might think it is. So every year I have a couple of traditions with the business. So one tradition is on New Year's Eve, I write out all of the goals that I want to accomplish for the following year. And then I review all the goals that I had for the current year. So in 2022, I had a list of goals, went through them. Which ones did we hit? Which ones didn't we hit? And then I start writing goals for 2023. And one of the goals I had on the list for 2023 was to consolidate our systems. So if you're not familiar, I run a marketing agency and social media production company. So we do everything from full-scale video production to podcast production to social media scheduling, web design, all that jazz. Everything's in-house, and we operate right outside, actually right in downtown Brighton, Michigan. So we have a pretty unique company in that there's not a lot of people that do exactly what we do. And with that comes a lot of different software to make sure that things are running the way they ought to run. And kind of the centerpiece of all of our software is a tool called Asana. And this is what we've used for about 3 years. And really Asana is a project management tool. We had it separated by clients, and that helps us run day-to-day work for clients. So for example, we'd sign a client and they might come in for web design, and we have a web design template that we've built in Asana, and we just assign it to that client and then build out that project accordingly based on the timelines and which players from our team are collaborating within that one client. So Asana really did run a lot of our day-to-day operations. That was, in my opinion, the most important tool that we had. But like every other company, there's other tools that you need to help make that better. So we used Slack, which is instant messenger. Essentially, we used Dropbox for cloud storage. We use, Dropbox Paper for procedure writing and storage. And as time went on, we had more and more applications. And as I got to the end of 2022, I'm reviewing like year-end finances and looking at, man, there's just a lot of things that we're spending money on that I feel like we can consolidate into another tool. And I stopped thinking about it for about a month, and I follow this business consultant. His name is Michael Hyatt, and he had posted. And it was the weirdest post. Like it was so timely, absolutely a God thing. Where he's like, "We just got rid of Asana, Slack, and Dropbox, and we've moved over to this new tool called ClickUp, and we use that with Google Drive." Or I forget exactly how he said it, but he was talking about how he moved over from Asana, Slack, and one other tool that we were using, and he moved over to this tool called ClickUp. And I was like, well, I looked at ClickUp when Asana, when we were looking at all the different vendors, and ClickUp wasn't as clean as Asana. And then I noticed that ClickUp had just released the notes for their 3.0 version. So I was like, let's take a look at this. So Julia is one of the people here that help run operations, kind of my right hand on the operations side. And I said, listen, you take this tool and I want you to tell me everything that you don't like about it. And I'm going to do the same thing. So we're going to look at ClickUp and we're going to be like, all right, what don't we like? And I think it was like the next day we both came in and we were like, there's not a whole lot we don't like about this. There's a lot of things that are pretty cool that we think we can use and leverage quite well. And what got me excited about it was we were able to consolidate a lot of things that we were using. For example, in ClickUp, there's some project management tools that are kind of on the outside of what we were doing, just with like simple note taking and some procedural things that we were able to put into ClickUp Docs. And there was a client upload feature that we were using in Dropbox that we were able to put into ClickUp. So now clients can upload things right into their own folder inside of ClickUp, which is great. So at the end of the day, we decided to transition from Office 365 and Asana and Dropbox and all of this over to ClickUp and off on Google Drive, Google Workspace. So that process took about 35 to 40 days to do. So we spun up a project plan. We had an implementation schedule because we had about 10 to 11 licenses and associates that we need to move over to all these new systems. So we just drew it up as a project and said, this is what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to do it. Here's how we're going to handle the migration. And as time goes on, we'll figure out, more and more things. But as we're doing this, like one of the habits that I have that I don't like is if I will launch a software and then hate it, and then I'll get rid of it immediately. So to hedge against that, I said, we're not changing any of this software for 6 months. So we're going to give ourselves 6 months with this new software pack to see how well it goes. And we did that and this was I think in March we did this. We completed it in April, and I'm sitting here, it's May 8th right now. So we've been running it for just over a month. And so far, everything's been going really well. A couple of hiccups with some stuff that we're just not used to, but overall, it's been tremendous. And on the numbers side, we've saved on an annual basis about $24,000 per year in licensing. And we've given ourselves more capabilities in terms of automation and project management. So there's been a lot of wins that have came out of this, but had we have not sat there and been like, all right, we see a problem, our software licenses are getting out of control. I think we had 9 core softwares that we were licensing to run the company, and we've knocked that down to 4. And that has been excellent. So for example, inside of Google Workspace, you have chat in Drive, and you have your email. So that one thing was able to take the place of Slack, Office 365, and Dropbox. So all in one tool. So there's just a lot of efficiencies that we put in place, and it makes things simpler to manage, and it's more affordable. And I think every business needs to do a software audit at least once a year to make sure that they're doing all of the right things and making all of the right steps, because there are tools out there that can help you consolidate and put things in a neater package. So you're not like we're spending a ton of money on a ton of different softwares that we can easily consolidate into less than 5 key pieces of, or key applications, I should say. And what was really important to me was we did an all hands meeting. We did 2 actually. At the beginning of the cycle, I said, hey guys, here's what we're changing over to, and here's why we're doing it. Because I wanted people to have buy-in to the idea, because moving from Asana, which we are heavy users in Asana. I think we do about 40,000 tasks per month in that tool. So it's a lot of manipulation, a lot of management that we do inside of that tool. And then moving it to something like ClickUp, like that's going to be a lot of work, and it's going to be a lot of stress. And I wanted to make sure that people knew why we were doing it and the opportunities that it gave us as an agency, and how in the long run it'd make things easier. That was the conversation I wanted to have. That was the conversation I wanted to have. And in that, people had buy-in. Now, if I would have just sent out a message in Slack and said, hey guys, we're switching over to ClickUp on Monday, good luck. Like, what the hell is going on? Rob's lost his mind. But we didn't want to do that. I wanted things to be much more strategic with the rollout. And so far it has been. It has not been without its problems. There's been, the first couple of weeks we had like a whiteboard in my office with all the problems written on it and things we were trying to resolve. And we did that. And that was key. But you need to understand, as you're rolling out new software to people, you need to have that buy-in from them. You need to get them to say, okay, this is what we're going to be doing and why we're going to be doing it. And we're very happy with that. So you need to explain the reasoning behind it, or else people aren't going to feel a part of the process. And that's really important. So again, Express episode today. I hope that was really helpful for you. If you have any questions or comments or what software has worked well for you, I'd love to hear about it. Apart from that, we'll catch you next week. Take care.